Welcome back, everybody. This is SAT Reading Crash Course Day 3, Part 2. We're coming back from a little break. And now we just read the Andrew Carnegie passage on PSAT Practice Test number 1. I would love to have gotten to the questions on that. We just don't have time right now because I've got to show you how to approach the double passages, which is a thing on the PSAT and SAT. There's always a set of passages that they're going to ask you to read. Notice it says passage 1, and then below that passage 2, and then questions about the passages. Now there's a special approach I have for the double passage section. What I want you to do, instead of reading passage 1 and passage 2 and then answering the questions, which would be very understandable because you're just going sort of in order of what comes up next. The questions are arranged. First, I'll ask you a series of questions about passage 1. So that's like questions 38 through 40, right? So 3 questions about passage 1. Then they ask you like 3 questions about passage 2. And that would be questions 41 through 43. That's 4 actually questions about passage 2. Right? So 3 questions about passage 1, then 4 questions about passage 2. Then they ask you a series of questions about the relationship between the passages. That's the next 3. Okay? So instead of reading all the passages and then answering all the questions, it makes a lot more sense to read passage 1 and then answer the questions about passage 1. Does that make sense? Yeah? To read passage 1 and then answer the questions about passage 1?
Yeah.
Yeah? Then read passage 2. Then answer the question about passage 2. Right? There's a much more limited amount of stuff you have to keep in mind. And then after, think about, passage 1 isn't going to be fresh in your mind after you've read passage 2. Passage 2 will be fresh in your mind. Well, so then read passage 1, answer the questions of passage 1. Then read passage 2, answer the questions on passage 2. Then answer the questions that ask you to identify the relation between them. Does that make sense? Yeah or no?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Yes, guys, everybody? Ava and Blaze Shahid?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So let's do it. I think we are at Ava. I would love you if you read the introduction, please, Ava, thank you, Angela, to passage 1 and 2, I guess, right? The introduction is right here. Do you see that on the screen, Ava?
Yes.
Great. Go ahead and read that for me, please, and we'll go through that method together, reading the passage first and then the questions for each of the passages. All right.
All right. Passage 1 is adapted from Stuart Brand, The Case for Reviving Extinct Species.
2013.
2013 by the National Geographic Society. Passage 2 is adapted from the editors of Scientific American. Why efforts to bring extinct species back from the dead miss the point.
Okay, interesting. All right, great. All right, so read, go into that first paragraph in passage 1, please. This is from the Case for Reviving Extinct Species. Okay.
Many extinct species, from the passenger pigeon to the woolly mammoth, might now be reclassified as bodily but not genetically extinct. They're dead, but their DNA is recoverable from museums, specimens, and fossils, even those up to 200,000 years old.
Yeah, good. Does that paragraph make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. And we're talking about, this is like Jurassic Park stuff. It's basically what it's had, which is cool. That's really... Dinosaurs are awesome. All right. Great. All right. I don't think... And what a relief, by the way. This was written, 6 years ago. And it's, again, much more sort of direct way of talking, but really easy to understand for us here in the 21st century. Really easy. Blaze Williams, go and read that next paragraph, please. Thanks to the developments.
Starting from...
Thanks, so line 7. Thanks to new developments.
Thanks to new developments in genetic technology, that DNA may eventually bring the animals back to life. Only species whose DNA is too old to be recovered, such as dinosaurs, are the ones to consider totally extinct bodily and genetically.
At least for now. Hopefully we'll bring the T-Rex back to life. It's going to be so awesome when we do it. I can't wait. All right.
But why bring bring vanished creatures back to life.
We're gonna pass up paragraphs around. So Blaze Shahid, please, next paragraph.
Sorry, I kind of lost my place.
We're at line 12. But why bring vanished creatures?
Alright, but why bring vanished creatures back to life? It will be expensive and difficult. It will take decades. It won't always succeed. Why even try?
Good question. All right. Boy, I love modern language. I really do. There we go. I need a sentence with 3 words. Why even try? Love it. Ava, next paragraph, please. 15, line 15, Ava. Why do we take enormous trouble? Can you hear me?
Yes, sorry. Why do we take enormous trouble to protect endangered species? The same reasons will apply to species brought back from extinction, to preserve biodiversity, to restore diminished ecosystems, to advance the science of preventing extinctions, and to undo harm that humans have caused in the past.
Okay, that's why we should bring it back. Diminished ecosystems, what does diminished mean?
Lowered.
Yeah. Lessened in some way, right? Like diminished.
Detracted.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. Harmed, yeah, maybe in this context,
Yeah.
right? All right, good. Blaze Williams, next paragraph, please. I'm sorry, were there any questions about that paragraph? Does that make sense? To preserve, what's biodiversity? To preserve biodiversity. What's bio mean? You guys know that, right?
Like diversity of life?
Yeah, diversity of life. That's it. Right? There's, if animals go extinct, there's less living things. Like, yeah, it's diversity of life. Right? Biology, right? Study of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's helpful to know that prefix. Okay. Blaze, I think we're on Blaze. Wait, which? Blaze Williams, next paragraph. Furthermore.
Yeah. Furthermore, the prospect of de-extinction is profound news. That something is irreversible and final as extinction might be reversed is a stunning realization. The imagination soars. Just the thought of mammoths and passenger pigeons alive again invokes the awe and wonder that drives all conservation at its deepest level.
Good. Okay, great. All right. Don't even worry about passage 2 right now. We just read passage 1. How easy was that, by the way? Relatively easy.
Very.
Too easy.
Right? I mean, let's say too easy, but like it's nice. Okay? It's nice. We just read a passage in about 6 minutes. Okay. Unlike, I think it took us about 70 minutes just to chew through the Andrew Carnegie passage. Let's read, Blaze, you just read that last paragraph. Go ahead and read question 38 for me, please. We're going to answer the questions on passage 1. I think there's 3 questions on passage 1.
The author of passage 1 suggests that the usefulness of de-extinction technology may be limited by the...
Okay, now let's stop. This is fresh in our minds. I'll bet you can find what it's limited by. Do you remember this? I remember reading it. I remember the lines. What's it limited by?
It would be expensive and difficult.
Yeah, but it's limited in another way.
It will also take decades, and it won't always succeed.
Yeah, but it's limited. You're right. Do you guys, Ava or Blaze, do you know? There's something that stood out for me in the passage. There's a very more specific way that's limited.
Is it because of the DNA that's too old to be recovered?
Yes. Do you see the difference there?
Yeah.
Right, and I'm trying to find the lines here. Where is it?
It's 10, line 10.
Yes. Only species whose DNA is too old to be recovered, such as dinosaurs. And that was disappointing for me because I want the T-Rex, but for a pet. But except for those guys, they are totally extinct bodily and genetically. But except for them, we should. That's the big limit, right? If the DNA is too old, we can't use it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Which is a little bit different from like it's going to be difficult and expensive. I mean, is that a limitation? I mean, it's just a problem, but I mean, it's not not a limitation, not a limit. All right. So let's answer 38 now. Go ahead and read the answer choices.
A. Amount of time scientists are able to devote to genetic research. B. Relationship.
Well, what do you think about A? What do you think about A?
The amount of time. So, saying that it's limited by the amount of time scientists are able to devote to genetic research, saying it will take a lot of time.
By the way, is it a true statement that it'll take a lot of time?
It is.
Now, it is. It's going to take a lot of time. I'm just looking at the passage, or, answer choice A. And by the way, like, based on your answers previously, I'd be like, wow, that sounds like, yeah, it's going to take a long time, and it's going to cost a lot of money and all that stuff. But look at the question, man. Look at the question.
Yeah, the usefulness.
The usefulness of de-extinction technology may be limited by the amount of time. That won't make it useful because it takes a long time? No. No. That's a different idea. Does that make sense, Blaze?
Yeah.
It's a really specific question. They're not saying, which of these statements sounds pretty good to you? That's not the question. It's super specific.
Question based on opinion.
Say that again? Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that absolutely, right? They don't want your opinion. It's like, the passage suggests, the author suggests, that the usefulness of this technology is going to be limited by, not the amount of time. No.
Yeah.
Go and read B.
There's B, relationship of an extinct species to contemporary ecosystems.
Does the author suggest the usefulness of de-extinction technology may be limited by that?
No.
I don't even know what that statement means. I don't care about it. C.
Mm-hmm. Complexity of the DNA of an extinct species. Don't think the author suggests that.
I don't think so either. It's about DNA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any other answers that say DNA.
Yeah. But then there's answer choice D, which says the length of time that a species has been extinct.
Ah.
And that is actually what the author was talking about.
That's the specific point. Absolutely. It's not because the DNA is complex. It's because it's too old, which is answer choice D. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Easy, right? And relatively easy, again, especially after reading passage 1. We haven't gotten to passage 2 and worry about that stuff. And then look at question 39. I mean, come on. Are you looking at 39, Blaze?
Yeah.
What's the answer?
I don't know why I get these ones all the time.
It's great.
So I'm pretty sure it would be.
That's right. I'm just gonna you're getting the next one. Blaze Shahid, you're doing 40.
Oh, okay, dang it.
Yeah, I'm not letting luck save you this time. Blaze Williams, what's the answer to number 39? B. You don't even have to read it.
Yeah.
You told me, it's like around line 10. Done.
9 through 11.
Now, if you didn't know the answer to 38, what would you do?
Then I would suggest, what I would do is I'd probably look at the lines that they offer you for 39.
Yeah. And you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it if you do that. No problem. But if you know the answer to 38, just find it, and then you got 38 and you got 39. If you don't know the answer to 38, go to 39, read the lines, and then answer 38. Then you got 38 and 39. Either way, you're going to get it if you approach it this way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Again, focus on the text. Not what we think is a reasonable set. That's a reasonable sounding statement. That's not the question. Mm-hmm. All right, question 40. Blaze Shahid, go read that for me, please.
Alrighty. As used in line 27, deepest most nearly means.
And you remember the method for these, right?
Yeah. I think so.
We got to read the sentence where that line is at, right? And we're going to plug in the answer choices.
Okay, so
the first answer choice is most engrossing. Oh.
Okay.
So you're going to read that sentence, please. Just the thought.
Okay, so you're going to read the whole
sentence. The last sentence of the passage. Yeah, read the whole sentence, please.
Okay. The imagination soars. Oh, wait, whoops.
That's what you're good.
3 sentences, 3 words.
Yeah.
Just the thought of mammoths and passenger pigeons alive again invokes the awe and wonder that drives all conservation at its deepest level.
Yeah, but I want you to plug in the answer choice. I want you to plug in most engrossing, I think is the answer choice A. Most engrossing.
Okay. The just the thought of mammoths and passenger pigeons alive again invokes the awe and wonder that drives all conservation at its most engrossing level. I don't know about that.
Yeah, what does engrossing mean?
I'm trying to think. I feel like if something's like top grossing or grossing, I guess, then it's what would that be?
Yeah, you think of like a top grossing movie?
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never made the relation between those two words, but I think there might be something to that. Does anybody else know what engrossing means?
Yeah, it's like intriguing.
Interesting, intriguing, and engaging.
Okay. Well, that definitely fits in the sentence.
That might make sense. Yeah, let's keep it.
Okay.
Answer is B, most challenging. Read it again, most challenging.
That's probably not going to work.
Well, yeah, I want to hear it. But I agree with you. But I want to hear it.
Just the thought of mammoths and passenger pigeons alive again invokes the awe and wonder that drives all conservation at its most challenging level.
How's that sound?
That doesn't sound like it.
No, the most challenging level? I mean, like, no. I mean, the only time, like, I would hear a level being described as challenging is, like, in a video game or something like that. That's not what we're not talking about that here. Nah. B's gone. Go and read C.
Most extensive already. Ooh, where am I? Just the thought of mammoths and passenger pigeons alive again invokes the awe and wonder that drives all conservation at its most extensive level. Still no, I feel like.
Yeah. It's. I consider it for a moment, but what's wrong with that?
What do you think? Extensive. I just feel like extensive doesn't really fit as the. I guess it doesn't. It's not really synonymous of deepest, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, that's not quite. Just, the question is, what does deepest mean there? And it just doesn't. Deepest doesn't mean extensive there.
Yeah.
And like, would you describe a level as being extensive?
Probably not.
Possibly. I mean, and we could describe it as challenging in the context of the video, but like, here is its most extent. Are we talking about it drives conservation at its most extensive? We're talking about the extent, the size of the level.
No,
I don't think so. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's eliminate B and C.
Okay. Political. Oh wait, no, I was reading.
Yeah.
Most fundamental.
There we go. So let's plug that in.
Alrighty. Wait, I'm so sorry.
So just the thought.
Okay.
Line, yeah.
What was the answer again?
Most great question. Most fundamental.
Okay, I almost forgot. Alrighty. Just the thought of mammoths and passenger pigeons alive again invokes the awe and wonder that drives all conservation at its most fundamental level. I also don't think that really fits because fundamental means like originality or like, so that doesn't really fit.
The only problem is that D is the correct answer choice.
Really?
Yep, sure is. I know you're sold on engrossing. What does fundamental mean?
Fundamental, if something is like fundamental,
yeah, what's it mean?
Necessary. Oh, okay.
It's necessary, not just necessary. You're right, it's necessary, but why is it necessary? What does fundamental mean? It's not just necessary. Anybody else? Blaze Williams or Ava? Fundamental means foundational, basic, literally at the base, right? At the base.
Yeah.
As in the foundation of a building. Can we talk about a foundational level of something?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, it's the most basic, and therefore the most essential, right? The most important part of your house is probably foundation. I mean, the roof's important, don't get me wrong. But if you've got foundation issues, the whole house can just, like, be unsellable. You've got to have a solid foundation. That's the most basic level. The whole thing's built on that. Does that make sense why we can talk about the most foundational level or fundamental level? Yes, but the most engrossing level, it's not terrible. We're not talking about the level being engrossing. We're talking about being the most basic level. Right? And does that make sense? We're talking about like what drives conservation. That drives all conservation at its deepest level, at its most fundamental level.
Okay, I see.
Right? It's the awe and wonder. Yeah.
Okay.
It inspires all conservation. It's the most basic part of conservation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, question 42. Oh, look, it's Passage 2. So, like, when you get to a question, you're like, well, we haven't read Passage 2 yet. Duh. Let's go to Passage 2 now, right? So, it is Ava. Go and read the first paragraph from Passage 2, please.
The idea of bringing back extinct species holds obvious G-ways appeal and a respite from a steady stream of rundown.
Yeah, what is respite? Interestingly, doesn't follow the rule with the silent either. What's a respite? A respite from a steady stream of grim news.
I don't really know what the definition of respite means.
Either of you guys know? Blaze or Blaze?
Not sure.
Respite is like a rest of some kind?
Yeah, a rest.
Respite?
Absolutely, yeah. Or a break. A rest or a break from something.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so the idea of bringing back extinct species holds obvious gee whiz appeal. All right. Does that statement make sense or no? Maybe not.
Kind of, I guess.
The idea of bringing back
have to
extinct
read.
species holds obvious gee whiz appeal. What does that part mean? Let's talk about that.
It's like, it sounds cool, I guess.
It sounds cool. Absolutely. Right? That's what we were talking about earlier. Like, I want a T-Rex. I want to go to Jurassic Park. Right? That's it. Which means it sounds cool. And a respite from a steady stream of grim news. What does that mean?
So like, and a wait, and a pause.
Yeah,
And a
and a pause from a steady stream of grim news. What's grim mean, by the way?
Like, I want to say like sad. It doesn't mean
Yeah,
sad,
absolutely. No, it does. It really does. Grim means like bleak,
Yeah,
depressing, right?
that's the kind of words.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're right. You're right. Does that statement make more sense now? Read the whole sentence again for me, Ava.
The idea of bringing back extinct species holds obvious gee whiz appeal, and a respite from a steady stream of grim news.
Right?
Mhm.
Does that make more sense? Like, instead of like, you read the newspaper and it's like, oh, the war, there's war in Syria and there's something with Iran and, immigrants in cages or something. I mean, it's like, the news is all like terrible, right? And then it's like, but we're bringing back dinosaurs! Yeah! Right? Like, maybe am I too excited about that? I don't know.
Depends on if you watched
That's right. Yeah, maybe that should be grim news, right? I don't know. I saw Jurassic Park 3, and that was pretty rough. Okay, maybe I need to lump that together with Syria. I don't know. But you get the idea, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm probably too excited about dinosaurs. All right.
Me too.
I'm not. I'm not going to hide my love of dinosaurs. I am not going to hold back.
Imagine having a miniature dinosaur just walking around in your
Oh
living
my
room.
gosh! I
That'd be
know.
great.
I know. And then eating my cats, which it totally would do. Gosh. Okay. Dang it. All right. Well, there's one of them I wouldn't be too upset with. But all right. Sorry. I do have a favorite cat. And one that's just getting on my nerves a lot. Wait, you woke me up this morning at 5:30. You need to be fed. Anyway, all right. Go ahead and keep reading, please. Yet with limited... Just read that. Yeah.
Yet with limited intellectual bandwidth and financial resources to go around, de-extinction threatens to divert attention from the modern biodiversity crisis.
Okay. What does that mean? Limited intellectual bandwidth.
Like limited knowledge of the things that you need to restore dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely on the right track. Absolutely on the right track here, but limited intellectual bandwidth and financial resources. Here, I think intellectual bandwidth means like limited amount of stuff to care about from like a scientific perspective or just in general, limited amount of stuff to think about. That's probably better, to think about. Like, should this be our biggest concern? Was kind of the idea. Limited intellectual bandwidth. We've got to decide what we're going to put our efforts into. Our intellectual efforts. And we certainly have limited money. This guy is arguing that de-extinction threatens to divert attention. What does it mean to divert from?
To like distract.
Exactly.
Change.
To distract from. Distract attention from the modern biodiversity crisis. What does that mean? Modern biodiversity crisis.
it'll distract you from like what should be the primary thing you're.
Yes, and what is the primary thing the author's saying?
The present day problems.
Yes, the present day extinction of species. Absolutely. Like, well, but man, there's rhinos are becoming extinct right now. Why are we going to focus on bringing back the dinosaurs? We've got to take care of the rhinos. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'd probably trade a rhino for a T-Rex, but all right. That's just me, maybe. All right. According to, keep reading, please.
According to a 2012 report from the International Union for Conservation of Nature, some 20,000 species are currently in grave danger of going extinct.
Keep going.
Species today are vanishing in such great numbers, many from hunting and habitat
destruction.
Cool. That the trend has been called a sixth mass extinction, an event on par with such die-offs as the one that befell the dinosaurs 65 million years ago.
What is that last statement talking about?
It's talking about, so it's saying the amount of animals going extinct today could be comparable to like how many dinosaurs went extinct 65 million years ago.
Yeah. I've heard that suggested. I think that sounds insane. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I've heard that argued. What's interesting, though, is that, like, all these die-offs that have happened, we're like, but man, we're like carbon dioxide and stuff. Like, all that, people that are freaking out that think we're ending the world. The interesting thing is, like, and it's true, we've had these, they're called mass extinction events in history. So the history teacher me is coming out, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to hold back, but we've had these mass extinction events where like 98 or 99% of the species in the world have suddenly disappeared on like 5 separate occasions. It's amazing. Like, it's suddenly everything died. Like, there used to be something called trilobites, which are just like, they were all over the place. And we got all these trilobite fossils, and you go back 260 million years ago or something. There's just trilobites everywhere. They're like crabs, kind of. They're like big roly-polies. That's a better description. They're big roly-polies. And roly-poly is?
Still around.
What's that? I know, right? How cool is that? Giant roly-polies. Well, what's fascinating is that, like, there was a long time. I mean, there was giantism. We've got fossils of like dragonflies that are like 4 feet long. That was just standard. They're frogs that were like 100 pounds. This was just a thing not that long ago. We're talking like 100 million years ago. But anyway, all those guys have died out, and we don't know why. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm like, well, we don't. And there's some theories like volcanoes or like a comet or but we don't know exactly why. And what's interesting is that like what killed the dinosaurs? Well, it wasn't humans. Humans weren't around then. I'm not going to get started on the Bible and all that, but from a scientific perspective, humans weren't around 65 million years ago. We didn't cause the death of the dinosaurs. We didn't cause the death of the trilobites and all the other like mass extinction events. That was nature just did that. And so anyway, I think it's fascinating. Again, people are freaking like, oh, this is another mass extinction event. It's possible, I guess. It could be a slow motion mass extinction event, but caused by humans. But I just don't think that's right. It doesn't take humans to kill life. Nature can do a pretty good job of killing everything. It doesn't require human intervention. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Not saying you have to agree with me. It just didn't make sense. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking about it. I'm just trying to get into like science and all that. And every once in a while I get distracted by the topic. Let's keep reading, please. A program to restore.
A program to restore extinct species poses a risk of selling the public on a false promise that technology alone can solve our ongoing environmental woes. An implicit assurance that if a species goes away, we can snap our fingers and bring it back.
By the way, would that be true? Let's say, like, the rhinoceros goes extinct. Could we bring it back with de-extinction technology?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Which might just be maybe. So maybe, yeah. But it sounds pretty promising, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Blaze Williams, read that next paragraph, please.
So,
Already
thanks to
Already-
develop.
conservationists. We're at line
Already
47.
conservationists face difficult choices about which species and ecosystems they try to save, since they cannot hope to rescue them all. Many countries where poaching and trade in threatened species. Wait, hang on.
Mhm.
Many countries where poaching and trade in threatened species are rampant either do not want to give up the revenue or lack the wherewithal to
Mhm.
enforce their own regulations.
Mhm.
Oh, whoops. Against that backdrop, a costly and flamboyant project to
Resuscitate.
resuscitate extinct flora and fauna in the name of conservation looks irresponsible. Should we resurrect the mammoth only to let elephants go under? Of course not.
Okay. Interesting. What is that last sentence saying?
Should we resurrect the mammoth only to let elephants go under? Of course not.
Yeah.
It's saying we have to conserve all the animals that we can,
Yeah.
or as many animals that we can. We shouldn't just
Especially the living ones, right?
yeah.
Especially the living ones. And focus on that and not so much worry about bringing stuff back from the dead. What does flamboyant mean? Against this backdrop, a costly and flamboyant project.
Dramatic.
Yes, dramatic. Would it be a dramatic project to bring back a mammoth or a...
It would.
Oh, yeah. Saber-toothed tigers? Yes! Please! Boy. It's probably a good thing I'm not a scientist. Because I would be doing that. Alright. Anyway. So that's the point there. The end point. Dramatic. Alright. Good. And then we are at Blaze Shahid, that last paragraph. We're almost done here.
Alrighty. That is not to say that the de-extinction enterprise lacks merit altogether. Aspects of it could conceivably help save endangered species. For example, extinct versions of genes could be reintroduced into species and subspecies that have lost a dangerous amount of genetic diversity, such as the black-footed ferret and the northern right rhino. Such investigations, however, should not be conducted under the mantle of preserving modern biodiversity rather than conjuring extinct species from the grave.
What's that mean to conjure extinct species from the grave? What's that mean?
To bring out or to bring back.
Yes, bring back from the grave. Yes, to conjure. Good. All right. Let's answer the questions for passage 2 now. Blaze Shahid, why don't you take it from question 41?
Already, question 41.
Yep.
The authors of passage 2 indicate that the matter of shrinking biodiversity primarily be considered a historical anomaly, a global...
Okay, let's stop and consider the answer choices on their own merit. Is the matter of shrinking biodiversity, should that be primarily considered a historical anomaly? Do you know what that means, anomaly?
I've heard it.
Look it up. Look it up.
Understand it.
Look it up.
The direct.
Look it up. Please.
Alrighty.
Anomaly.
Something that deviates from what is standard.
Yeah. Is shrinking biodiversity a historical anomaly, according to the authors of passage 2? Does that deviate from what is standard? Or change from what is normal?
It does.
Why do you say that? I'm not disagreeing with you.
Biodiversity. Because it kind of stated I'm not really sure why.
I need some evidence from the text.
Yeah.
An anomaly means nothing like this has happened before. Basically. Has something like this happened before?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
So I guess that
maybe not eliminate it, but I'm not. It's not looking great because maybe it's rare. Let's try answer choice B. Go and read that for me, please.
Alrighty, passage 2 indicates that the matter of shrinking biodiversity should primarily be considered a global catastrophe. That definitely does.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Where does the author of Passage 2 indicate that shrinking biodiversity is a global catastrophe?
I think it was kind of near 40.
Yeah. Around 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, in that first paragraph. Let's keep that. What about C?
Shrinking biodiversity should primarily be considered a scientific curiosity. I think they made it seem a lot more serious than just the curiosity.
Yeah. That's silly, right? It's not just like, oh, it's interesting. It's like, no, they're dying, man. They're dying, basically.
And I don't think D fits at all because it has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah, that's silly. So, if you were going to answer, which one do you think is the best answer?
Oh, B.
Yeah, definitely B.
Easily.
Definitely B. Now, hold on. Let's look at answer choice, or question 42. What choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? I'm going to make you answer this one, too. What answer choice is it? It's probably A or B. Well, let's read A, 37 through 41.
37 through 41, okay.
Yeah. So that would be sort of species.
Already species today are vanishing in such great numbers, many from hunting and habitat destruction, that the trend has been called a sixth mass extinction in event.
And I think that's it, right? It's just through 40. Oh, no, I'm sorry. An event on par, sorry.
Even on par, such as die-offs. The one that befell the dinosaurs 65 million years ago.
How's that?
True. That's good because it gives like an example.
That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But let's try B.
42 to 45. Okay. A program to restore extinct species poses a risk of selling the public false promise of technology. I don't know about that.
No, that's not it. That's not it. It was in the area, but A is definitely better. And it is A. It is A. Isn't that nice? I mean, like, those questions with the lines, the evidence ones, are so... You got two ways to get it. Either you're going to get 41 with the evidence and then automatically a 42, or you're going to get 42 because you found the answer that addresses 41 and then you got both. Regardless, it's like a backup to find the answer, basically. Either you automatically find 42 or you find 42 and then find 41.
Yeah.
So it's definitely B for 41 and A for 42. All right. Ava, go ahead and read question 43, please.
Used in line 37, great most nearly means.
Hey, by the way, Blaze, if you're typing right, if you chill on the typing for just a moment, because that's popping up on the microphone a little bit.
Sorry,
recording, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so using line 37, great most nearly means. All right, we know the method here, right, Ava?
Yep.
All right, so let's plug in lofty for great in line 37 in the sentence where line 37 is at. Lofty, yeah.
Species today are vanishing in such lofty numbers.
How's that? Now, like, if you're laughing at a answer choice, it's probably not. Well, great. Probably not. Okay, let's try answer choice B. Wonderful. Plug it in. I want to hear it.
Yeah. Species today are vanishing in such wonderful numbers. It sounds almost rude.
It sounds like Mad Libs. You ever played Mad Libs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is so, like, you realize that kids are going to pick A and B. Especially B. Right? Like, great. What's great mean? Oh, great means, like, awesome, wonderful. Okay, great. No. But you plug it in, and, like, A and B are just... Lofty means, like ideal.
Yeah.
You know, like, perfect. All right.
Okay,
Try C.
Large. Okay.
Yeah. Plug it in.
Species today are vanishing in such large numbers. That works.
That works. Thank goodness. Okay, try D.
Intense. Okay. Vanishing in such intense numbers.
I mean, you laughed at it again. Intense numbers?
Yeah,
Come
a
on.
little bit.
Come on. No, large numbers. They're not complicated. Really nicely done. All right, now we're getting to the... Oh, no, we're still on the passage 2 questions. Blaze Williams, go and read 44, please.
The reference to the black-footed ferret and the northern white rhino, line 64, serves mainly to...
Okay, what do we do before we answer this one?
Look at line 64.
Heck yeah. And check out the context for those references. So let's read the whole... In fact, I think we need to read the paragraph. I need a little more context. All right, so start from the beginning of that paragraph, line 58. That is not to say.
That is not to say that the de-extinction enterprise lacks merit altogether. Aspects of it could conceivably help save endangered species. For example, extinct versions of genes that could be reintroduced into species and subspecies that have lost a dangerous amount of genetic diversity, such as the black-footed ferret and the northern white rhino.
Okay. Maybe a little bit after that. Read the such investigations.
Such investigations, however, should be conducted under the mantle of preserving modern biodiversity rather than conjuring extinct species from the grave.
Okay. So the reference to the black-footed ferret, don't even look at the answer choices right now. Just read the focus on the question. The reference to the black-footed ferret and the northern white rhino mainly serve to do what? Can you tell me?
To provide an example of two species and subspecies, two subspecies that have lost a large amount of genetic diversity.
Large amounts of genetic diversity. Yeah, interesting. Okay, I agree completely. Let's read the answer choices now. Go and read A, please.
Emphasize a key distinction between extinct and living species.
Does it do that?
I don't think it does.
I don't think so. Oh, yeah, if you're laughing at an answer choice, that just makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Go and read B.
Account for types of animals whose numbers are dwindling.
Does the reference to the black-footed ferret and northern white rhino serve to do that?
Oh, no, sorry. I was getting part of that mixed up. No, it doesn't
No!
quite do that.
No, and it's so tempting. Isn't it tempting here? Isn't it tempting? Doesn't that sound so reasonable?
Except for one word.
Except for the only problem with that is that there's no evidence for that. You told me. Remember, we were focusing on the text, and you told me what those examples serve to do. And what do those examples serve to do?
They serve to show, they serve to be examples of subspecies that have lost a
dangerous amount of genetic diversity. That's what the text says. Not that they're going extinct. They've lost genetic diversity. So it's not B.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Great. Answer choice C. Go and read that, please.
Provide examples of species whose gene pools are compromised. That sounds good. That sounds very good.
That sounds very good. Right. What does compromised here mean in this context?
Compromise is like endangered.
Yeah, endangered.
Or
lessened.
Yeah.
But their gene pool, right, is
Yeah.
in trouble. Their gene pool is lessened, not their numbers. It's not about the numbers. It's about their genetic diversity. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Go ahead and read D.
Highlight instances of animals that have failed to adapt to new habitats.
All right. No words are necessary. That's just what? Like
That's out of there.
out of left field. That is out of nowhere. Okay. Now hold on. Do you guys have a couple minutes? Just a couple minutes? I want to answer at least one of these.
Yes.
Now we get to the questions they ask you to compare the passages. But does the strategy make sense again of reading passage 1, then answering the question on passage 1, then reading passage 2 and answering the question on passage 2? Does that make sense? Does that approach make sense? Yes? Yeah? That approach makes sense? I need some feedback here. Yeah?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good. All right, so we've done that now. Now we got to compare the passages. Go ahead and read. Who was the last one? Is that Blaze? Blaze Shahid is up next. Blaze Shahid, go ahead and read question number 45 for me, please.
Okay. Best states the relationship between the two passages.
Okay, let's go back real quick before we answer this. What's the main point of passage 1, and then what's the main point of passage 2?
Let me think about it.
You can look back at it.
Alrighty.
I'm looking at passage 1 right now. What's the main point?
It's to like introduce the idea, or bringing back like the extinct animals.
Yeah. It's all like, let's do it. Right? That's me. I'm the author of Passage 1. Yes! The mammoth! Do it! Right? And then what's the main point of Passage 2?
It's to show like the difficulty of it.
Yeah. It's like, well, I don't know if it's such a good idea. Right? Because, like,
Yeah.
because endangered species today, man. Right? That's it. Okay, good. I just want to have that in mind while we answer these questions. Go ahead and read. Now that we have that in mind, go ahead and read answer choice A, please.
Okay, so Passage 2 attacks a political decision that Passage 1 strongly advocates. I don't know about the word political, although it would work.
I know about the word political. I think you know about the word political.
Yeah.
What about it?
If it just wasn't for that word, then it would have been fine. But yeah,
political? No. Doesn't go there. No.
Right.
Answer choice B.
Passage 2 urges caution regarding a technology that the Passage 1 describes in favorable terms. Once again, I don't really think it really... It doesn't really urge caution. It more like says, we can't do this.
Passage 2 doesn't urge caution? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? It doesn't urge caution?
No, it does.
It does urge caution, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does it say we can't do it? No.
I think it just strongly says don't.
It's a bad idea, is what it says.
Okay.
So does Passage 2 urge caution?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Regarding a technology, we're talking about de-extinction technology.
Yeah, okay.
Does Passage 1 describe that technology in favorable terms?
Yes, it does.
This is a black and white issue. This is not a matter of opinion. Passage 2 does that. Passage 1 does that. Answer choice B is looking good. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Focus on, there are specific ideas here. Does Passage 2 urge caution? Yeah. We should be cautious. Absolutely. Read answer choice C.
All right. Passage 2 expands on the results of a research study mentioned in Passage 1. No, it doesn't really do that.
Yeah, like what study?
Examples, but it doesn't really.
There's no study.
Yeah.
There's not one study mentioned in Passage 1, or Passage 2 for that matter. So, try D.
Passage 2 considers practical applications that could arise from a theory discussed in Passage 1. No, it's not a theory. It could be done.
Yeah, considers practical. Yeah, it's not a theory. Yeah, absolutely, it's not a theory, man. Like, we've got the technology. Students practical applications. No, it's just not. That's not the relationship. It's B. Any questions about that?
Already.
That makes sense?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it makes sense. Okay, good. I want to answer this. I want to do 46, 47. Let's do it real quick. Ava, go ahead and read question 46 for me, please.
How would the authors of Passage 2 most likely prospect referred to in line 21, Passage 1?
Okay, so we got to go back to some prospect referred to in line 21 of Passage 1, and then we got to imagine what the authors of Passage 2 would respond to that, okay? So let's go back to that sentence, line 21, right here. Furthermore, go ahead and read that sentence for me, please.
Furthermore, the prospect of de-extinction is profound news.
Okay, now, so the prospect of de-extinction. How would the authors of Passage 2 how would they respond to that prospect of de-extinction? What would they all be all like saying?
So seeing my screen a second to load.
Okay,
I've been off the computer.
Don't look at the answer choices. I want you to tell me right now. We read Passage 1, we read Passage 2. How would the authors
they'd probably be like, yeah, but you can't let that waver your opinion.
Yeah, but you can't let that what?
Like waver your opinion.
About what? Like
opinion, but like the facts.
About what?
About if they should try to try de-extinction.
Do the authors of Passage 2 like the de-extinction technology? Do they like it? Are they in favor of it?
Yeah, but they don't want people to do it at the moment.
It doesn't sound like they're in favor of it. I mean, like, they're like,
it's
I mean,
not.
it could, yeah, I mean, right? They're like, yes, they're in favor, but they don't want people to do it. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what they're like. I mean, it's nice. That's what they're saying. They're like, it's nice. I mean, it's really cool. But like, man, we've got species that are dying right now, and all that. Like, we can't focus on the mammoth. We got to take care of the tigers, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's look at. So I don't think they're big fans.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what the question asks is, how would the authors of Passage 2 most likely respond to the prospect of de-extinction technology? That's it. Okay, so let's read answer choice A, please.
With approval, because it illustrates how useful de-extinction could be in addressing widespread environmental concerns.
Would the authors of Passage 2 respond with approval?
Probably not.
Probably not, as we discussed. Right? They're probably not the biggest fans. Try B.
With resignation, because the gradual extinction of many living species is inevitable.
What about that?
That sounds good for now.
Is the gradual extinction of many living species inevitable?
Well, maybe not inevitable. So the word inevitable seems.
And what does resignation mean, Ava?
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
What does resignation mean?
That means to like back away,
Not just back away.
or like
And
accept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They'd be like, well, they're going to die anyway, so whatever. Right? That's resonating. Like, we should probably just stop trying to save the planet. You know.
So not that one.
Maybe not. But look, let's leave it for now, right? Because you couldn't get rid of it earlier. I just don't think you quite had a full understanding of it. Let's leave it for now. Let's say you're like, I don't know what it's saying. Let's leave it. Okay, great. Go to answer choice C.
With concern because it implies an easy solution to a difficult problem. I don't think so.
Why not?
Because it's just saying how cool it sounds. It's not really talking about the difficulty or even the solution of it. It's just saying, oh, that's like a crazy idea.
My only concern is I think it's answer choice C. I'm going to leave it.
Oh.
I'm going to leave it. Hold on. I'm going to leave it. Let's read answer choice D together.
Okay.
So I don't know the answer came in front of me, but I'm fairly sure it's C. Go ahead.
With disdain, because it shows that people have little understanding of the importance of genetic diversity.
Would the authors of Passage 2 respond to the prospect of de-extinction with disdain?
I don't know. Maybe?
Maybe. I've got a great idea. Look at question 47.
Okay.
All right? Let's do it.
I know it's not. I know on this one, on 46, it's not B, but
let's read through the lines. Let's read through 28 through 30, and let's see if we can find out what's our evidence of how the author of Passage 2 responded to the prospect of de-extinction technology. Let's try. Okay. 28 through 30. Go ahead and read that.
Okay. The idea of bringing back extinction species holds obvious gee whiz appeal and a respite from a steady stream of grim news. I don't think that. Wait, let me see the other.
What do you think about that? Do you mean to go back to the passage?
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't think that helps any specific.
I don't think so, but you can see which answer choice matches up with that one though, right? A?
Yeah.
Do you see that? They're kind of like, oh, it's a good thing, right? So a lot of people are going to pick A and A for 46 and 47. Does that make sense? Why some people might pick A and A?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just not the main point of the author's passage. They're not in favor of it. They're really not.
Okay.
So B, lines 30 through 33.
Okay. Yet with limited intellectual bandwidth and financial resources to go around, de-extinction threatens to divert attention from the modern biodiversity crisis.
Mm. What do you think about that?
That one sounds like it's focusing on D.
D or C?
Yeah.
D or C?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, no. I wasn't demanding an answer. I was just saying. But yes, yeah. What do you? It's because it's both. It's true. It's both. Is that concern or disdain? What does disdain mean? Maybe we know what disdain means.
Like total rejection.
Disgust. Right? Is the author like disgusted? Go ahead and read those lines. Read 30 through 33 again, Ava.
Okay. Yet with limited intellectual bandwidth and financial resources to go around, de-extinction threatens to divert attention from the modern biodiversity crisis.
Is that concern or disgust?
Concern.
It's concern. Does that make sense?
I mean, you could read it with disgust in your voice, but
Yeah. I mean, you could. Hold on. But is it with disdain because it shows that people have little understanding of the importance of genetic diversity?
No.
That's not the point there. B's looking good. Go ahead and read lines 58 through 59.
Okay. This is not to say that the de-extinction enterprise lacks merit altogether.
What do you think about that? Is that how?
I don't really.
Yeah.
There's not really a specific answer that I think. I mean, you could use it, but I don't think that would.
You can maybe use it for A again, but that's not the author's main point.
Yeah.
Then the main point is they might be useful. That's not their main point. What is the author passage to main point? What's their main point?
It's talking about how we need to focus on the primary problems of today.
Yeah, we got to focus on conservation, man. Don't worry about bringing back the mammoth. We got guys dying today. That's the main point, which is basically B so far, right? Not that maybe they might be useful in a couple limited circumstances. That's not their main point. So that's gone. Go and read D, 61 through 63.
Okay. For example, extinct versions of genes could be reintroduced into species and subspecies that have lost a dangerous amount of genetic diversity.
How's that?
I don't really think that really proves any points.
No. That's not going to explain how they would respond to the extinction technology. You can see what they're trying to match that up with what answer choice from 46.
Mm-hmm.
Which answer choice from 46? Are they trying to match that up with? Which one? No?
Probably B.
I would say D, right? Because D is about the genetic diversity. Right? It's going to be like, genetic diversity. Oh, genetic diversity. Right? And they're just playing word matching. But they're missing the whole point. Because the whole point is how the authors of Passage 2 most likely respond to the prospect of de-extinction technology. And you know they're not going to like it. So it's either C or D. But it's not.
It's going to be C.
It's going to be C. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then lines 30 through 33 back that up beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes it's more helpful to start with the lines. Okay. What questions do you guys have? Other than, are we done yet? Other than that, we are done. Thank you. I really appreciate. I really want to go through that double passage because you're going to see one on every single SAT test. So
Okay.
I appreciate you guys going over a little bit with me. Any questions?
No.
Okay. For homework, I've got two passages I want you to do, and they're on two different practice tests. Okay. One of them is it's a fiction one. It's also from it's something like 1900. It's a little bit old timey, but once you get the language, it's absolutely hilarious. It's one of my favorite passages, hands down. Please try it. Please look up the vocab, and I'll be honest. The first time I read it, I was like, I don't get it. But as every time I go over it, it's fantastic, and you're gonna love it if you understand the words. So look that up. or do that one, and then the second one is also from double passage from the 1800s. So it's tough. We're bumping up the difficulty level here. We are, okay. But I really recommend even if you don't answer the questions, read the passages, look up the words. You got to have a handle on the vocab. Otherwise, it's gonna be a big struggle in the next session. Okay.
All right.
But I mean, if you don't get to it again, I'll guide you through it. You know me. But I recommend it. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for your hard work and your attention. I really, really appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Okay. Although I guess you guys, the Shahid family, you guys are traveling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I may not see you next week. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, somebody will show up. I hope. And Blaze, you gonna be here next week? Are you gonna be here? We're gonna have a class.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Good. All right. It was just you.
But,
That's
yeah, that'd
okay
be
too.
interesting.
Okay. You're getting a lot of attention. You better be prepared. All right. All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon. Okay.
I just have one question.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So in the beginning, you mentioned just usually you instruct students to just skip the older passages.
Yeah. I mean, I do.
So is there like a key to find out like usually if it's written in the 1800s or
It'll
will it
tell you.
say it in the introduction?
It'll tell you in the introduction.
In every single one of them?
Absolutely, it tells you when it's written.
Okay. Awesome.
And then if you
Alrighty.
didn't, you'd start reading like, "Thou shalt not therefore do that." What? Like
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Okay.
I mean, come back to it. Not just skip it completely, but come back to it at the end. Does that make sense?
Alrighty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Appreciate your attention, guys, and
Alright.
I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, again.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.